Pula FM nambando na sera ni wasiningaw na ni batara ni sibiti ko bekian na diwa na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ora bengrabe na nantang nongo kanda na dapat ko ni rona kaloko ena kaben den deba bili na tagbali ni may dapat ko na wani matakabo plan lib sarti ko na bisere tali oni na namaka do batat ko may kine na kenan daw ro di kanamaki Bola binaka ayo salamilawa do patakia wana batara ne wani vio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka ena Pula FM nambandua ena seri
In this bulletin, Opposition MP Biman Prasad says budget unrealistic and unsustainable. Finance Minister calls Prasad's address flawed and contradictory. And Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama acknowledges soldiers' contribution in Golan. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate, and this is FBC News. Shadow Finance Minister Biman Prasad has labelled the 2015 budget unrealistic and unsustainable. Addressing Parliament today, Prasad called into question a number of proposed government initiatives, effectively dismissing any opposition support for the budget. Maggie Boyle reports.
As expected, the response to the budget from the Shadow Minister for Finance drew a cacophony of utterances from the House of Representatives.
The Minister for Education, Madam Speaker.
Order. Professor Biman Prasad labelling the budget implausible.
It is a budget which is going to increase the gap between rich and poor. It is a budget that is going to increase income inequality. Continuing with previous tax policies, such as the increase in VAT and reductions in income and corporate tax, brought in by previous budgets. Honourable Minister might do well to listen. Above all, it is a budget which is unrealistic and unsustainable in the medium term based on likely recurrent revenues.
Prasad spoke at length about the need for good governance, to which a point of order was raised twice with the Speaker for him to limit his response to only the budget.
The unleashing of bad governance, lack of accountability and transparency after all the coups has become a norm. Good governance is not merely a cliché and catchphrase. The principles of it are logical, equitable, transparent, and of critical importance for the progress and prosperity of our beloved nation.
Prasad also took a dig at the Finance Minister, insinuating that he held too many portfolios and that there was a need for more governance at the executive level. He also used the address to reiterate his call to repeal various decrees, which he calls regressive and draconian. Prasad also specified areas where government's claims of improved business was unsubstantiated.
However, the IMF in its recent report says that deeper and more rapid structural reform is needed to lift Fiji's potential growth and reduce external vulnerabilities and reduce poverty.
In an address an hour long, Prasad spoke about the possibility of unprecedented debt.
The massive infrastructure spending last year and the allocation of 630 million for next year, more than 630 million for next year, funded through borrowing and planned asset sales of more than 500 million, could leave the biggest dent yet in our budget, and it is our people who will be shackled by the burden of debt.
And while Prasad raised a number of issues, he also commended the positive features of the government budget, namely water subsidies, electricity subsidies, subsidies on medicine, free bus fares and free education. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Minister for Finance Ayaz Said Qayyum has called Biman Prasad's response to the budget address flawed and contradictory. Chanel Sivan spoke to the minister outside Parliament and reports he has also ruled out any possibility of taking on board Prasad's options presented today.
Will you take the advice by the opposition?
I did not hear any advice being given. I just heard comments being made in terms of his analysis of it. And in fact, there were a lot of fundamental flaws in the premise of that retort that he gave.
This was Syed Qayyum's response to the lengthy address made by opposition MP Biman Prasad.
Biman Prasad, unfortunately, has shown that he is subject to a lot of theories. And unfortunately, a lot of his theories is also not necessarily based on any facts.
Syed Kayum has defended all the comments made by the academic and says they are fictional.
Probably a third, or almost more than a third, was about things other than the budget. It was about the constitution, it was about the media, various other aspects of it. It was about Mauritius. On one hand, he said, we should follow Mauritius. Then he said, don't follow Mauritius in this aspect. What is it? Follow Mauritius or don't follow Mauritius? He said, don't follow Singapore, follow Mauritius. But then he said, oh, don't take this part of Mauritius. I mean, these are the kind of contradictions.
All the MPs will give their contribution to the debate on the budget this week, and a right to reply from the Finance Minister is expected next week. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
The Ministry for Rural and Maritime Development and National Disaster Management has supported the 2015 national budget. The ministry has been allocated $32.1 million, a 19% decrease when compared to this year. Ritika Pratap reports.
In his response to the budget address, Minister Choweli Dawaki says, despite a $7.6 million reduction in budget allocation for next year, they are happy as money has been given to other ministries that is targeted at developing and shaping Fiji's rural and maritime areas.
Our 2014 budget included a one-off allocation for the purchase of a new marine landing craft at the cost of $7 million. The landing craft is expected to be delivered to Fiji by April of this next year. Madam Speaker, the removal of the Tropical Cyclone Evans allocation from our budget of $2 million and the transfer of the Rural Outer Island Agricultural Program allocation of $1 million from our ministry to the Ministry of Agriculture in the 2015 budget are also results of our budget reduction.
Choweli Dawaki says the new initiatives in the 2015 budget have given more emphasis to the rural and maritime community.
Madam Speaker, the revisions of the fiscal and exercise duty aimed at protecting our local producers is commendable, noting that it will raise the level of confidence and participation of our local producers, including those that are in our rural and maritime communities.
Meanwhile, the ministry has been given $640,000 to cover the allowances of the district advisory councillors, which will now be up to par with the Turangani Koros.
Madam Speaker, this is a new allocation, and it has been devised because of the vast area covered by advisory councils in their responsibility and their roles. This again is aimed at enhancing services to our multi-ethnic communities in the rural and maritime areas.
The ministry's programs are targeted at generating economic growth and living standards in Fiji's rural and maritime communities. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Minister for Women, Rosie Akbar, has dubbed the 2015 national budget as the mother of all budgets. Akbar says this is the first democratically elected Fijian government to place children on top of national agenda by allocating $2 million for child protection. Rashika Kumar reports on the minister's response to the budget address.
$1.82 million has been allocated for the Department of Women. This allocation will enable the department to implement Fiji's first national gender policy.
Fiji's first national gender policy, which empowers Fijian women and girls, and particularly those in rural communities, by equipping them with skills and education they need to participate as equal members of the society.
In addition, $160 million has been allocated for poverty alleviation programs, of which $44.8 million has been allocated to the Ministry for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation. This is an increase of $4.4 million from last year.
This increase in the ministry's budget, Madam Speaker, reaffirms the Bainimarama government's unwavering commitment to fulfill the core functions of the ministry, namely the empowerment of Fijian women, the protection and support for our children, and our overarching objective of poverty alleviation.
Akbar added that the government will reform the social pension scheme to reduce the age eligibility from 70 to 68 from July 2015 and to increase the allowance from $30 a month to $50 a month beginning next year. She says the 2015 budget is gender responsive and reflects the government's efforts to accelerate Fiji's progress towards Millennium Development Goal 1 and 3. These goals are to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger and to promote gender equality and women empowerment respectively. Needless to say, the minister has endorsed the 2015 national budget. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has expressed gratitude to Fijian soldiers in Golan in the Middle East under the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force. Bainimarama met the soldiers yesterday. He has commended them for their sacrifice and commitment to upholding Fiji's proud track record of peacekeeping operations. Bainimarama is accompanied by the commander of the military forces, Brigadier General Mosese Tikoitonga. They were welcomed by the soldiers, where Bainimarama also inspected a guard of honor. The delegation held informal talks with the soldiers. Fiji deployed the first group of peacekeeping troops to the Golan region last year. Coming up after the break, ITLTB markets native land for tourism development.
Ni sa bulu binaga turang na kini marama ni bulu binaga na dor bo kini mo nelewa ni sa bulu binaga ngone en do talem no ngone wa wa katalau en mataka nei dai
en vindelana mai nei tasiri
no bulu maleka go ni milote nei sorta boa
en lomo ni vonua mai sanganga
yo bulu go Samuel Samli na no ngone wa wa katalau en radio Fiji-One na domo evitina vonga ni venu mai no kini diwa en be mataka moni tikina pagruka ni kai namaka.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Fiji and India have made a property trade. The Indian High Commission will be relocated to a section of Thurston Gardens in Suva and in return for property in New Delhi. This has been confirmed by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ratuinoke Kumbombola, in Parliament. He explained the approval to House.
It's been given to the Indian government for the Chancery and also for their residents. In exchange, we are getting a prime land in Chimbakura in Delhi. The land here is it's about 1.6 acres. The land here, and it's it's about 1.5 million Fiji dollars. In Delhi, it's 107 million Fiji dollars, the latest valuation, and it's about 0.93 acres.
The minister was asked the question by the opposition MP Suliano Matanitumbua. Albert Park is one of the most historic sites in the heart of Fiji's capital. Despite its current condition, it has played host to many of the country's special occasions since independence. As Akosita Tale reports, Albert Park will soon get a new look and will be able to cater for more events, festivities and sports activities.
Albert Park has come a long way from hosting sporting activities, hibiscus festivals, Independence Day celebrations, to the recent historic visit from India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Soon, this site will have a new look. The lone pavilion will be demolished as part of the government's allocation of $16 million for a total makeover of the park next year.
So what will actually happen is Albert Park, the actual stadium, will move to the other side of the field. So it will face government buildings. So the ground will be lifted higher so it doesn't get always flooded, etc. Proper drainage. The present one will be demolished, will be put to the other side.
This was the site of the landing by the Australian aviator Sir Charles Kingsford Smith during the first trans-Pacific flight from the United States to Australia in 1928, and also the site of the first hoisting of Fiji's new national flag on 9th of October 1970.
We need to have some proper facilities around it. It does not only give that outlook of a professional, modern, efficient capital city, but it also has various other attractions in terms of being able to entice other people to come and have programs there.
Syed Qayyum says an earlier project proposal looked at renovating the park. Now the government has decided to construct a new park as demands to hold activities have increased.
It also makes sense to put up a grandstand that is fitting for very special occasions, and not sort of the current one that you have. In fact, your visuals aren't very good because the way it's been extended out.
However, opposition MP Chair Sefandula Kiberata says the site should be classified as a heritage building under the National Trust Act, and its budget should be used to renovate Nausori Airport.
What is the agency of this work, Madam Speaker? Why should the pavilion be relocated? It has a lot of historical significance.
The finance minister says $10 million will be used to construct the park next year, while the remaining $6 million will be used in the following year to complete the construction. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
The Itauke Land Trust Board has begun marketing native land for tourism development with 5 parcels currently on offer. Watisoni Raikandroka reports.
The Itauke Land Trust Board, which is the custodian of native land, is taking the next step for tourism development.
Most of these hotel sites that we have are there for the taking. What we have done is we have consulted with the landowners who have given us their consent to market the land. And I must emphasize that only marketing.
ELTB General Manager Alipatengetaki says they have sought expressions of interest from potential investors.
And if there's anyone there, an investor, whether from Fiji or from overseas, that has an interest in any of those areas, then they can contact us for further negotiation and discussions, and also for discussion further with the landowners before anything is finalized.
However, Getaki adds that they are moving away from traditional advertisements such as print media to electronic, television and social media to market the land.
Our marketing is not only restricted to tourism land. We also have other major lands that we want to identify for integrated development, for instance in the Studio City, also in Niangara, and there are other sites. But what we want to do first is to ensure that we have the agreement of the landowners that we advertise in that media before we can move on.
The Itauke Land Trust Board also plans to go on overseas trade missions to market their products in the hope of attracting investors. Watisoni Rekanroka, FBC News.
The ANZ Bank is confident more people have now reduced unnecessary spending and started saving. ANZ CEO Pacific and CEO Fiji, Vishnu Mohan, says this was only possible through their money-minded financial literacy program, which was introduced 4 years ago.
ANZ's flagship financial literacy program, Money Minded, has reached about 4,000 individuals. Individuals from a variety of public, private, non-government organizations, as well as ANZ employees participated in the Money Minded program to build their skills, knowledge and confidence. The whole idea behind the program is to inform the public on savings.
The majority of respondents reported that they feel more satisfied with their life, less stressed about the future and better able to provide for their family.
Mohan says after the training, 81% respondents now have money to cover sudden loss of income compared to only 21% before the program. 92% of participants now pay their bills on time. 73% people have stopped buying items on credit, while only 19% buy things impulsively. The Money Minded Impact Report was prepared in collaboration with the University of the South Pacific, and there are plans to train another 400 people. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. In sports tonight, the latest from coach Ben Ryan and the Fiji Sevens team in Dubai, and a good start for Fiji under-19 women's basketball side at the FIBA Oceania tournament. This and more coming up.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. The Vodafone Fiji Sevens team will have one more training session tonight before the start of the Dubai tournament on Friday. Coach Ben Ryan says there are no injury concerns within the team and the players are in high spirits. He adds the team will have a day off tomorrow before a captain's run on Thursday. Fiji plays France in its opening match at 6:44 p.m. on Friday before meeting Brazil at 9:44 the same evening. Its last pool match is against Argentina at 1:52 on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, the England side is banking on individuals to gel in time before the start of the Dubai Sevens, the side which... And remember, you can watch the Dubai Sevens live right here on FBC TV starting on Friday evening. The Fiji men's under-19 basketball team needs an improved performance against Tahiti tonight at the FIBA Oceania Under-19 Championships. Coach Penny Ratumayale made the comments after the team lost to American Samoa 61-47 in their first match last night. Josephine Avula has the details.
The Fiji men's under-19 basketball team took to the courts last night in front of its home fans to play against American Samoa, and the result wasn't what they wanted. Head coach Penny Ratumayale put the loss down to the nerves and mistakes by his teams for the loss.
They created more turnovers. The expectation was too high, and the task they're given to them, these kids, they've been given the task, they've been representing Fiji, and we are hosting. And this is why they came in too excited, and the rush came into the mind, and all those rush, they put it in the game. And in the game of basketball, the more you rush, the more turnovers you did. And that's actually what happened yesterday.
Ratumayale adds he has highlighted the weaknesses with the boys and hopes they will improve tonight against Tahiti.
The player, they're playing, they only seeing the good things they're doing, they're not seeing the mistakes they're doing. So that's what the stats is there for. We went through the stats. And that's where we've seen the more mistake they did that causes them the game yesterday.
He has also hinted that changes will be made to the starring team.
Yeah, there'll be a few changes on the lineup, first lineup, because we want to put strength onto the bench for the people coming off the bench.
The Fiji men's under-19 basketball team noted they will be in a tough outing to make a comeback in the next match. The team meets Tahiti in the second match, which is the last match of the day at 8 p.m. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji women's under-19 basketball team started their battle of the 2014 FIBA Oceania Championships on a high note. The Dale Saunganga coach side pleased the home crowd last night after defeating Samoa 65-41 in their first match of the tournament. The girls maintained the lead from the start of the game, outscoring the Samoans in all four quarters. Meanwhile, the side is currently playing its second match of the tournament against the Solomon Islands. With about 2 minutes left on the clock, the Solomons are currently leading 48-45. That is your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority has launched an automated system of customs data program to enhance the government's revenue collection. This program is also expected to increase trade competitiveness. Asekuda is an integrated customs management information system. It handles customs processes from pinpointing high-risk consignment for inspection to processing payments, delivery of goods. The system is set to roll out within the first quarter of next year, and FIRCA Chief Executive Chitoko Levu says all stakeholders need to know about the changes.
Increase efficiency in the customs clearance processes, to monitor and enhance revenue collection, to develop and install a state-of-the-art computerized system for the recording and monitoring of international trade transactions, the production of customs and trade statistics, and to reduce the administrative burden on the trading community to a bare minimum.
The program has been implemented with the assistance of the UN Conference on Trade and Development. Flood and showers affected the country today. A trough of low pressure lies with associated clouded showers, slow moving over Solomons and extends over to Fiji. Meanwhile, another trough of low pressure lies over Tuvalu and extends over to Tokelau to northern Cooks and to Tahiti. Maximum temperatures reached 29 and 30 degrees today. Occasional showers over most places today, isolated. Heavy falls expected, showers easing and clearing from the west tomorrow. And further outlook, some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, elsewhere mainly fine. And recapping our top stories, Shadow Finance Minister Professor Biman Prasad has labelled the 2015 budget unrealistic and unsustainable. Minister for Finance Ayasaid Qayyum has called Biman Prasad's response to the budget address flawed and contradictory, and the Itauke Land Trust Board has begun marketing native land for tourism development with 5 parcels currently on offer. Now to our poll segment, we're asking, should the contract for Fiji Sevens players be more than $15,000 per annum? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our news for today. Join me again tomorrow evening. Bye for now.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablanca. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics, right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.